Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this session, Career Pathways in Food Safety, Building Expertise and Influence. I'm Mike Richmond, your host for Exemplar Global's Auditor Expo. Today's presenter is Oluwafemi Odare. Oluwafemi is a management system consultant at Second AB and an Exemplar Global Food Safety Management Systems Advanced Lead Auditor. In this session, Oluwafemi will explore the diverse opportunities available in the food safety profession, from regulatory compliance and quality assurance to research, consultancy, and leadership roles. And with that, Oluwafemi, take it away.
Thank you very much, Mike. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me at the Exemplar Global Expo on career pathways. My name is Oluwafemi Adare, and I'm passionate about advancing food safety, not just as a technical field, but as a pathway to influence and leadership. The theme for today's presentation is actually from technical mastery to industrial leadership. So whether you're at the start of your career or you are already in a senior role, I'll show you how you can grow your influence, shape policy, as well as create meaningful impact in food safety. So about me, just a little about me. I'm with particular respect to food safety, I'm a CQI recognized principal auditor. I'm also an Exemplar Global Advanced Lead Auditor. I'm also a fellow of the Royal Society for Public Health, and I've been honored with recognitions, including the Exemplar Global Community Endorsed Auditor Award, as well as the Alliance to Stop Foodborne Illness 40 Under 40 Award. I started in a technical role as a compliance officer, actually in 2011, just immediately after I completed my master's degree program in public health epidemiology from the University of Lagos in Nigeria. And in over 14 years, I've learned how technical expertise can actually open doors to leadership, influence, and policy impact. So, where do we begin? How can our career grow in food safety? How can we grow from being technical experts to industry leaders? We're going to take a quick overview look at the career overview. And we have the entry-level role, the mid-level role, and the senior or the leadership role. And each of this stage, influence grows with each stage. So whether you are the entry-level role and you're a quality assurance technician, a lab analyst, a compliance officer, your focus is always on technical mastery of the subject matter. And at the mid-level role, you had system and people management. And at the senior or leadership role, your focus is on strategic influence. And like I said, at every stage, you have the opportunity to actually influence. For example, at the entry-level role, you can influence your team on hygiene practices. At the mid-level role, you can even influence company policy. And at the senior leadership role, you can actually influence industry standards. We're going to take a closer look at this as we move on. Now, let's look at the big picture. Why are food safety careers so important, and why does the world need more skilled professionals in this field or in this space? According to the World Health Organization, there are over 600 million people fall ill from contaminated food every year. That's about 1 in 10 people globally. 420,000 people die, and almost half of the burden is on children under 5. This is not just data, these are lives. And of course, every role in food safety, whether you are a lab analyst, you are an auditor, or you are even a policymaker, you can directly contribute towards reducing these numbers. So I will need you to think that food safety is not just a compliance requirement, it's actually a life saving mission. And when we do our jobs well, we help to protect public health, we help to keep the supply chain functioning, and we help to maintain consumer trust in the food system. However, when that trust is broken and there is an outbreak or a recall, of course, the opposite happens. There will be reputational damage, there will be financial losses, and sadly, there can be loss of lives. I will give you a classic example to show you that um, foodborne illnesses remain a serious threat to public health and a constant threat, I will say at that. A classic example, like I said, is the reported case of salmonella outbreak linked to eggs in the United States of America between January and July 2025, in which 14 states were affected, 95 individuals cases were reported, and we had about 18 hospitalizations. Thankfully, no deaths. And of course, the CDC and the FDA are still jointly investigating this. This is just to bring to the fore the fact that foodborne illnesses remain a constant threat. And as food safety professionals, we have a role to play to to protect the most vulnerable. But I always like us to look at the basics. For example, starting with what we understand as food. Food is actually any substance that we intend to consume. It is intended for consumption, excluding cosmetics, tobacco, or drugs. This is according to the ISO 22000 2018 standard, the internationally recognized standard on food safety management systems. Now, it means that as food safety professionals, we have a critical role to play in ensuring there's safe food for all. And that is why we need to really understand what food safety means. It's actually the confidence that the food we consume will not cause harm when it is eaten as intended. And this should be the key objective of any organization. Remember the example I just gave now. Once this objective is not met, it can lead to reputational damage, financial losses, and even trust in the brand. So it means that we have opportunity as food safety professionals to be specialists in controlling what could get into the food to make it unsafe, which we call hazards. And when you are a specialist in hazard control, you can move into auditing and advisory roles. Now, what are those things that can be in the food, like I said earlier, that will make them to be unsafe? These are food safety hazards. They can be biological, such as parasites such as Giardia lamblia, bacteria like the salmonella I talked about, or the Escherichia coli, or viruses such as noroviruses and the hepatitis A. They could also be physical that can choke, damage teeth, or even cause damage to internal organs, such as stones and broken glass, among others. We don't want such in our food. They could also be chemical. Some of them build up in the body and lead to long-term illnesses such as cancer. And that's why as much as possible, we don't want pesticide residues or heavy metals to get beyond acceptable limits in our food. Now, not forgetting that there are special category of food safety hazards that we need to also consider. We call them the food allergens. And there are 14 major food allergens that we need to always keep in mind. Examples being peanuts, milk, eggs, soya, among others. There is need for strict controls for this special category of food safety hazards because uh, they can also lead to life-threatening reactions in food allergic consumers. So, proper labeling and of course, prevention of cross-contamination is key. And when you are a specialist in allergen control, you can actually progress into regulatory advisory roles. Now, where can these hazards come? They can come in at any point along the food chain from farm to fork, or what we say farm to plate. So you need to play your critical role at whatever sector of the food chain you find yourself. You need to make sure that you have the technical expertise to prevent these hazards from getting into our food. So how can you build your expertise? You need to look at the core technical knowledge, uh, the very important tool in the food industry, ASIP. What are the relevant standards and the certifications? Like I said, core competencies are your technical knowledge, specifically to the relevant food sector, knowledge of regulatory expertise, for example, the FISMA Act, and of course, Code of Federal Regulations 21. You also need to have requisite analytical skills because you need to make evidence-based decisions, and which means you will be able to analyze data and come up with informed decisions. You also need to communicate effectively and be able to influence the industry to actually bring about the desired change. So you need to master the fundamentals. One key fundamental is ASIP. ASIP is hazard analysis and critical control point. This is an important tool in the food industry, like I said earlier, and it's been with us for 65 years, which was of course introduced in the 1960s by joint effort between NASA and the Pillsbury organization. Now we also have ISO 22000, which is an international standard published by the International Organization for Standardization. And this standard has also incorporated ASIP. This is to remind us that ASIP is actually a core tool that every food safety professional should be conversant with. Now, there are also GFSI recognized industry standards, or what you call Global Food Safety Initiatives recognized standards like the FSSC 22000, the BRCGS, the SQF, among others. These are foundation. You need to go beyond compliance and understand how these requirements actually can be applied in your sector of the food chain. This is what will help in your business growth. So don't just stop at the technical knowledge. You need to ask why, not just what. So this is just an overview of ASIP. ASIP has 12 steps for implementation, and there are 5 preliminary steps and there are 7 principles. You always start with assembling your team, describing your product, identifying your intended use, construct the flow diagram, and verify that flow diagram. And then you move to the principles where you conduct a hazard analysis, determine your critical control points, set limits for these critical control points, monitor them, and of course, when there are deviations, you carry out the necessary corrective actions, establish verification procedures, and ensure that relevant documentation and record are in place to support your HACCP. I've been fortunate actually to, over the past 14 years of my career, to have guided 45 organizations, including multinationals, in effective implementation of ASIP. So we need to keep in mind that ASIP, the mastery of ASIP is very important for the food sector where you work. So it's not just something you should gloss over. It's actually a key technical foundation. And what are some of those certifications or credentials that can set you apart in this field? Like I said, getting ASIP certification is a core fundamental for you. You can also have ISO 22000 certification, FSSC certification, SQF certification, among others as well. You can also look at certifications offered by Exemplar Global and also consider industry-specific credentials. For example, the preventive controls qualified individual that is required by the FISMA Act. These are very important for you to look at. Now, ongoing learning is also vitally important. You need to remain current and to keep yourself sharp. And how do you go about this? Attending conferences and workshops, webinars, and of course, peer learning as well. Now, beyond the technical foundation, you need to also build influence. And this will cover leadership, networking, mentoring, and as well as thought leadership. Now, leaders in food safety, do very well in these three areas. Number one, they communicate. They are able to translate findings into actions. Two, they lead. They're able to promote a strong food safety culture. And three, they manage. They manage change. They're able to adapt their teams to new rules and technologies. And technology is actually changing the game right now. We talk about artificial intelligence in food safety, blockchain, data analytics. All these are actually transforming traceability and audits. And of course, regulations are also evolving, including updates on ISO standards. One classic example is that as of July 2025, ISO has published what is called Unified Prerequisite Programs to ISO 22002 Part 100. This is actually to support every organization in the food chain to ensure that they have effective prerequisite programs to establish their food safety management system. Also, um, standards are coming up on how we can manage food loss and waste. This is to ensure that as food safety professionals, we are also supporting the achievement of sustainable development goals. It will interest you to note that 1 in 3 prepared meals end up in the landfill, and this is a significant food waste that eventually generates greenhouse gases, particularly methane, and this is affecting, of course, the global climate. And as food safety professionals, it shows that we also have roles to play in this area. Now, when it comes to networking is not just about um, exchanging cards or just adding random people on LinkedIn. It's actually about building real connections. So you can join industry associations like the GFSI, like CQI, and even Exemplar Global Community. Engage with food safety professionals of like minds on LinkedIn and attend relevant sector events. I will rightly say that the opportunity to speak at this Exemplar Global came just because Mike noticed that I was active in the Exemplar Global community and he reached out to me to have this session. This is how networking actually works. Now, when it comes to thought leadership, thought leadership means you are sharing your expertise. To, you should publish articles relevant to food safety, speak at conferences, participate in panels. These are the ways by which you influence your uh, peers in the industry. Now, mentoring is also another important one. I'm fortunate to mentor early career professionals, particularly from Africa. And I've also learned from a lot of experienced leaders in this field. And this is very important for you because you need to understand that mentoring is a two-way street. You learn and you also give back. You are helping people to grow their career, and at the same time, they are giving you new perspectives about the industry as well. So this will help to build mutual growth relationships. Just to remind us again, regardless of wherever level you are in your career on food safety, you can influence your peers. Even at the entry level role, whether you're a quality assurance technician, you're a lab analyst, or you're a compliance officer, you have the opportunity to influence your peers in hygiene practices. Whether you are at the mid-level, you have the opportunity to influence your processes and your plans, whether you're a food safety manager, you're an auditor, or you're a technical specialist. And of course, at the senior level role, you have the opportunity to influence the policy and the industry standards. So whether you're a director, a consultant, or a regulatory advisor, and at any of this stage, you also have the opportunity to teach and train people on how to practice uh, and right food safety practices. So, what are your next steps? Enroll in relevant training program on food safety, seek relevant certification, and make sure that you network actively. Food safety is vital, it's rewarding, and of course, it's there are diverse opportunities in food safety. But these are the three key steps for success and how you can move from technical expertise to influence in the industry. Number one, you need to build your deep technical expertise, and two, expand your influence through leadership skills, and then shape industry standards and policy. So this is my call to action for you in this very brief presentation. I need you to explore exemplar global related resources, among others as well. Get certified, connect with your peers. Your career in food safety can start anywhere. So what matters is the next step that you take. So you need to take the right step. I will be happy to hear your thoughts, get questions from you, or you can even share your career stories in food safety with me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. And I hope this very brief and on-demand presentation has added value to you. Back to you, Mike. Thank you.
Well, Olufemi, thank you so much for that excellent presentation. Really good advice there. I hope everyone listened very closely. I know I listened to it very closely and picked up some good pieces of advice there. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for mentioning some of the opportunities that we have as well to help people in their career development, including, of
Thank you
course,
so much.
this session. So if you're watching this on demand, as you all should be, you can write, as Olufemi just mentioned, to him directly, or write to us at info@exemplarglobal.org, and we'll get your questions over to him if you do have questions on his presentation. Be sure to claim your CPD for this session. It shows that you are committed in your career to continuing education and advancement, which is very important. And be sure to check out the rest of the sessions we have for you here at the Expo. We have more than a dozen extra sessions. We have some live sessions too. So if you'd like to check those out too, please go ahead and do that. So thanks again, Olufemi, for a great presentation. Thank you all for being there, of course, and we really appreciate it. So have a great day and enjoy the rest of the Expo. Thanks again.